Hey guys, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a BP5 Subaru Legacy. What's cool about this one is being the Japanese spec, you get the EJ20 engines, basically the same engine as in the STI, 280 horsepower with four-wheel drive turbo, and this one has a 5-speed manual transmission. Of all the cars I can think of when people say I want a good value car, this is probably the top car. They're reliable, they work well in Canada where this one's going as a full year-round vehicle with a four-wheel drive, high performance. I think they're actually closer to 300-ish horsepower. They went to a single turbo for this year. There it is. Well, that's a heat shield, the turbo's underneath. This one has just over 100,000 kilometers, of course bought from auction, and exporting to the east coast of Canada. We don't send too many cars over there, but this one's going over to the Halifax port. And yeah, great package. Good performance, fast, 5-speed manual, space in it for your things. Okay, so this is a post-purchase inspection video. We'll take a look at the condition of it. With just over 100,000 kilometers, there's a lot of life left in this engine. These are very reliable engines. People talk about Subaru head gasket failures, but that's on the USDM spec versions. These turbocharged Japanese ones are very robust. I have never seen a head gasket go. We've probably sold a couple hundred of these engines, whether it be an Impreza or a Legacy or a Forester. I will mention that this one here is ripped and the little gribblies are in here. And so this vehicle at one point was a house for a mouse. That sucks. But it doesn't suck that much. I don't think that the mouse is living in it anymore. And that's stock intercooler top mount with functional hood scoop with a little extra vent there to be extra air cooling for your brakes and for your turbo. Okay, quick look at the car again. And I think the top spec Canadian version of this came with the 6-cylinder. But I think that only puts out 200 horsepower or 220 or something like that. Now usually this is where I would turn the engine off, but this one has a bit of a problem and I'm going to leave the engine running. The battery is dead, and the battery, see the lights there? The battery is so dead that it's resisting the alternator output. So the alternator is fine, but because the battery is completely toast, it's kind of making the car run not very well. And it required 2 battery jump boxes to start it, and I don't want to mess around. So after I'm done shooting this, I'm going to go park it back into the lot without having to jump start it again. The reason why the battery is all messed up is, see these lights here? They won't go out. This is a problem I have never seen on a Legacy. Brake lights, same thing. So our auxiliary lights, you can't switch them off. Oh, and this is a dealer optional exhaust. So cool that Subaru made such an aggressive, noisy, but good sounding exhaust. Mike, the guy that works with us, a lot of people know Mike, he owns one of these too. Probably your best value for money out of any car if you're into the wagon body style. Okay, so let's quickly go over this. This is a 2005 model, auction grade 4 with an interior exterior C. Power steering, power windows, ABS, alloy wheels, airbag, and AC. All of that is functional as far as I can tell. The AC was checked and it's functional. This is the 2.0 GT Spec B version. Spec B means Bilstein Suspension. And if you're not aware, Bilstein makes some of the best suspension in the world. Their valving is above and beyond anything that anyone else does. In the consumer market, I should say. Okay, where are we at here? This auction does the report and the notes in the same section, so this is first time at auction. Original Momo steering wheel, toll collection box for Japanese highways, fog lamp, STI exhaust. That's cool. Very scratches and dents, wheels scratched. Actually, the wheels are not that good, but they are the original wheels. Although they are a good looking wheel for an original wheel, Legacies look really good when you upgrade the wheels to something different. And then these are 18s. 18s is about as high as you want to go. I've seen Legacies on 19s, but I prefer the look of 18s myself. You get better performance out of them too. Okay, underside surface rust, that's something I wouldn't worry about. Steering wheel is peeling. It's not that bad. It wouldn't bother me enough to change it if it were my car. Interior liner is dirty. Again, not so dirty. It's actually pretty clean. Seat wear, not so much wear. And the battery needs to be replaced, it says. It doesn't say anything about the lights being left on. I guess they didn't catch that. So that is a bit of a pity. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the exterior now. First a once around, and then I'll go and take a look at some of the specifics. I think with the single turbo on this one, this is probably my favorite generation of the Legacy, if you exclude the very first generation Legacy RS. Those ones are unobtainable now in Japan, which is really weird because a lot of people think that Japan, being the country that they originally came from, would still have some of them, but I guess until you live in Japan and see what it's like to live here, you don't really realize that after a car is 10 or 15 years old, the export market sucks all the cars out. And that happened to the Legacy. All of them went away when they were popular in other countries because at that time prices were really cheap. You could get them for $500. And nowadays, if you find them in Japan, you're lucky to get one for $7,000 or so. And this happens to all cars. Once they reach 30 years old, they become really expensive here, and the more popular they are, the more likely it is they'll completely spike. Fade on this, I don't know if you can see. That's a stock spoiler. It is faded. Really good sounding exhaust. When you rev it up, this one doesn't use the unequal length headers, and so it gives it a very different feeling compared to the Impreza. It's more of like a higher pitched instead of a lower. I like them both, but it kind of sounds more hypercar-like. Just show you the side here. Then the Impreza's very distinct look. I'm sorry, sound that comes from the exhaust. Two dents there in the hood. Front grille has some fade here, or peeling you might want to call that. A tire hit that, you'd be able to knock that off. I don't know how this got here. It might have happened after the car went from auction, but it has yellow paint there. Now if you look closely, you'll be able, there doesn't look like there's any actual damage to the paint or scratches on this car in that area. You should be able to polish that off, no problem. But there is a scratch here. And there is a big scratch, which they called on here an A3. Right here. Now, if it were my car, I would probably change this door, because that is a big scratch with some rust in it. If you were to fix that, you'd have to paint the whole door. It might be cheaper just to find a used door and pop it on there. Okay, we got a scratch here at the back. Tires are no good. They don't have any more tread left on them. They're 2008. Oh, that is so cool. Because that's a part you probably wouldn't be able to get outside of Japan as well. Or at least in Canada, where this one's going. Okay, into the back here. Plenty of room. You can even sleep in it if you move down the seats. Still has the blue plastic protector on those shiny plates. You have a storage section under here if you want it. But that piece there goes on the driver's side door scuff area. I don't know why it's been taken off. This one here goes on top of the battery, but I guess somebody took it off because the battery needs to be jumped so often. Back has a paint crack here. Okay. There's a bit of an ouchie here. Now this is what they called interior dirty, as you can see, barely dirty. These are one of the few cars in Japan that has the ISOFIX for the child seats. It wasn't necessary in Japan to have that, and so a lot of cars didn't have it. In other countries, it became a standard. There's the missing piece location. Okay, Legacies have always been simple. They tried to make it upmarket, but it's a simple car, which is what I like. You get to keep your lightweight. This is cool though. 1, 2, 3, 4 speakers. And it's a Macintosh audio system, and it sounds really good. There is a CD in there so that you can listen to it. Subwoofer. And it's a 5-disc CD changer, all in the center stack here. And it glows blue. You can't see it, but it glows blue in like here and some other places when you turn the lights on. CD's on. Okay. I believe the name of that band is E.T. King, but it might be another band that sounds similar. Okay, this piece here is broken. There's usually a double cup holder piece that goes in there. There's another CD there. It's so cool. You get to experience the Japanese music that the previous owner used to cruise around in Japan listening to. That battery's still having troubles. So the battery will need to be replaced. Oh, it's so nice. Here's the wear of the steering wheel. I usually don't rev the engines. I hope our neighbor isn't that angry. But with the COVID-19 stuff, we've been doing far fewer cars, and hopefully the patience goes up. These are good seats. Most manufacturers, I'm not really into their seats. These are good seats. They're not great. They are electronic though. The Impreza seats I really like, and then you could swap them in if you really wanted. Okay, I think that's everything. Gotta mention the foggy headlights, but yeah, great cars these. Okay, so as usual, if you have some comments, you can drop those in the comments section. If you want to check out our website, there will be a link in the description. Thank you everyone for watching this, and have a nice day.